Alright, so the mic was fucking unplugged and I'm gonna fucking crash out in this recording, but anyway, quick exchange. Okay, so what happened there is a very tight pair of posts. I don't think this god accomplished anything, this flurry, because realistically the exchange started here, which is like brevet to brevet, so it was really funny. Uh, anyway, so yeah, winning lap 10 in an ideal world, men would be right here, because this is really not a tangible threat, and win is far overextended. This line is open, but first exchange, everybody's like filling each other's out, and this is a very tight pair of posts, which I like because it's a tip on strong, winning position by default. You control the action. That's where the parry happened, and Min's like complaining about his retreat, which I don't think the only way Winnie could hit Min at this point is either this side of the hand or the legs. So there's nothing really anything to fix, but apart from if you're asking on how to retreat properly, I would recommend to do a drop step. So instead of planting right here, you could have dropped it to parallel and you're gonna fall back, like literally falling back, and your front feet can catch your fall, which is a textbook fencing like retreat, but and nothing much to talk about. And we're gonna see again. I saw the video because like yeah, first recording, whatever. I saw like a thrust to a bind and to a grapple right here. I can explain better on the second because it's exactly the same action, but right there. Okay. So right here, I can't really read Min's mind whether the bind is second intention, whether was it second intention spontaneous or was it planned? Because if the first intention is to land this thrust right here, this is a. I'm gonna check the mic real quick. Yeah, it works. So if the thrust was the first intention, they was like too far. Like this is very far to for it to be a thrust. But if the bind was the intention, then it's a great thing. It forces the bind. I think if this is what Min's looking for, Winnie fall into the trap, because what happened here is I feel like she panicked a little bit because you could have catch the tip right here, and the and Min wouldn't have those feedback, and you because you control the tip again, you're gonna control the action, but because I think she panicked, it happened on the first clip too, and she should have just pressed the blade into Min's guard, which will not achieve anything. As you can see here, is tip or like at least the weak, very weak to cross guard. By that I mean right now Min control the blade totally because you don't have any feedback. You sort of just press into Min's cross guard, which will never work because it's tip too strong. And right here, Min's get the job done. Alright, so that was a flash, which I don't believe it was called. I like this little thing where Min set up the flash because this is again a neutral zone where nobody can really throw anything. And once he like when he enter, now this little foot thingy is a cool setup. So it's like faking a retreat, and then he immediately like planted back in into a farther distance, planting his foot, which set up the flash. And if it land, it land, and if you think it didn't, it's because it's a little bit too far. Ideally, the tip could have landed when it was parallel. I don't want to really get into detail, but that's generally how I teach how to thrust. Like the tip should have landed when your leg was parallel, ideally. But yeah, if it wasn't called, then it is what it is. And he attempted a second thrust in this. Yeah. right there. And again, another cool setup, like you transform your step into this like minuscule step, and when you found the range with your lead foot, you leapt in for the flash. Right now, this is a textbook that what was I talking about, because parallel it landed. If we want to be like really perfect, this was a tad bit too close, but you can't really like judge it at the moment. So yeah, it's a good thrust. Okay, so this one is a double, and I explain how it was a double because here what happened in Min beats the blade right here, and right now both have momentum and both are in neutral position. One is over, one is under. So because Min don't keep like any bind on the blade, and Wynie also have the momentum, it's just gonna be a classic double, which is really nobody's fault. It's just, I don't know, it happens at the moment. Okay, another one. I don't know if it's intended as a thrust or a shield how. I can't really read what's happening inside their mind. But if this was a thrust or a shield how, this is very close. It wouldn't happen because when the bind happened, you can see here it happens strong to strong, which your cut's just gonna whiffs at that point. Because again, strong to strong, neutral bind, both have equal power, so it's just gonna whiff to the side. I think Winnie tried the Min stuff, the grappling. Min can comment on like how to do it, because I don't really freaking do it at all. So I can't judge. And it's called head bob because it was denied, so it was really funny. Okay, that was really funny. Anyway, so what happened is, again, a flurry of hand snipe. It's a bit reactive right here. Like, again, this is a very, like, if we try to be perfect here, there is no way that this is a threat. Like right there. There's no way that in any shape or form like Winnie's blade will reach me in Min's, because again right there you control the tip in a really ideal word, instead of defending. Right there he could have just again stood his ground, and this is open, but I practiced that movement a shit ton, so it's unfair. But Winnie tried to overbind Min again on his crossguard with her tip, boys, and it's gonna be like it's not gonna be a winning position. Like you're just pressing into Min's really strong base, and yeah, Min does what Min does. Alright, a failed thruster grapple. Again, Min were yapping about the fucking extended guard. This is what happened if you try to thrust from an extended guard. First of all, if Winnie was a tiny bit reactive, this line is really open, but anyway. So, because there's no elasticity in this bicep, there's no like stored energy to whiffs it out, and you essentially relying on gravity, like you fall like that way, and you can see right here as you try to thrust, there's no acceleration in the tip. You sort of like the tip moves as your body moves, so there's no flick, there's no pop, and because there's no pop, the thrust is really visible, and you can see now you landed fucking tip on strong, which is inherently a losing position. And to be honest, like I don't know, Winnie, you're like in the superior mind. You could have just popped Min back in the head, but yeah, you shouldn't have turned this way, and this line's open, but yeah, like just turn your blade right there. But okay, whatever. Uh, yeah, it went to a pommel strike. Cool. I think I can add to this last exchange because this action right here, I do a shit ton of it, and I don't know. Again, I can't really read what in Min's mind because my analysis is just to what could have been done. So he tried to leap into danger zone right here, which I do often, and post a crone. What I think goes wrong is I think this action is a bit pre-planned. He want to crone and then he want to go for those outside line shield house or inside line if you're in this position. So why it was a double? Because at least the way I do it, whenever I leap into danger with crone, I wanted to see Wynie's reaction first. So if Wynie twitched this way, now this line is open. If Wynie twitched the other direction, this line is open. You know. So what I would have done usually when I leapt like this, I would have like waited for a tiny bit of reaction because Wynie doesn't really twitch. What you could have done is just go straight the middle because this is in no way a tangible threat. But yeah, very cool. Yeah, I'm crashing out over the mic, and